Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to show you a new way to move your test banks from classic quizzes to new quizzes, and more specifically to move those question banks to the item banks. And as you can see, I'm in a course here and I have lots of quizzes, 15 quizzes. Each one of these quizzes is drawing from a different question bank. And if we open the question banks, I recommend opening the question banks in a new tab so you have them handy, because we are going to refer back to this. So here's all the question banks associated with this course, and they all have names that match the names of the chapters. This is a OpenStax OER course. And if we look at the item banks, I'm going to go back to my course. We look at item banks, which is what Canvas calls test banks for new quizzes. You can see I have nothing in here yet. And the old method that I used to do this was a lot of work. I had to create a new quiz, export it, create an item bank, import the quiz questions into the item banks. It was a lot of work. This is a much more streamlined method. So I'm only going to do it for the first 3 question banks, but that's fine. First step is to create a new quiz. And this is going to be a classic quiz. Submit. And you can call this anything you want. It will be attached to the name of the test bank, so you might want to call it something generic. So I'm going to actually give it the title of this course and leave the rest out because it'll add that later. And then we're going to go to the questions tab. And what I find is the best way to do this is to actually use find questions first. So we're going to click on find questions. It's going to bring up any question bank that is associated with whatever. If I go to question banks, I can see here's the names that I need. I'm going to copy just the name of the first one, Control C or Command C on a Mac after highlighting that name. And then we're going to search for it here. So actually, technically it's not in alphabetical order, but at some point it will kind of do that. So I'm going to scroll down. Another way you can find these is if you look at the name in the light gray text, it should match the name of the course. So here it starts here. You can see WLAC 2021 and branding. So I've found my first test bank. I'm going to click on it on the left. Then in the right column, I'm going to select all and then scroll down that column to the bottom. And here is kind of the secret sauce. So it says add questions to the question group. I'm going to create a group. So I clicked on no group, create group, and then here is where I'm going to give it that same name that I copied from my question bank. And you can see it says pick number of questions and give it a point value. I'm going to pick all 35, and you can see it says 35, right? And then for point value, I'm just going to give it 1, and then create group, and finally add questions. You can see it adds all 35 questions in there. I'm going to scroll to the top, and I like to click on the little arrow so I can close that group, but you can see it says it's picking 35 questions, 1 point per question. Now I'm going to do the next one. So again, find questions, and I'm going to refer back to my question bank tab to see what the next one is, and it is consumer behavior. All right. So I'm going to scroll down this list, and we're looking for consumer behavior. There it is. Same process. Select all, scroll to the bottom, click on no group. We're going to create a new group. And because I copied the name in the question bank tab, I'm going to paste it in there and take out the extra spaces on the right. You can see the little bracketed numbers. It says pick, and then I have 35. It just left that in from last time. But I can see in the small brackets it says 25. So I'm going to match that because there is 25 in that bank, and create group, and then add selected questions. That's great, does it really fast. Close that group, that's optional. Let's go back and copy the name of our third bank, ethics and social responsibility. And I can see it's 26 questions there. Go back and again, find questions. We're looking for ethics. There it is on the left. Select all. Scroll. Click on no group. Create group. Paste over the old title with the new title that I copied from my bank tab. And this one is 26, not 25. Create group. And then add selected questions. And I know I said I would only do 3. I'm going to do one more as an experiment. So let's go ahead and do find questions. And the 4th one is going to be marketing function. And it's 41 questions. This time I'm not going to put in the number of questions just to see if it works. So it's just a test for myself. Marketing function. Select all. It's 41. And then we're going to create a new group to add these two. Paste the name over it. And just for fun, I'm going to take out the questions. And I'll take out the points too, just to see if we even need that. Create group. Group failed. Please try again. Yeah, I guess you do need to put that in. So 41 and 1. There we go. Add questions. Okay. Just wanted to test it out. And this is a good one. I'm glad I added this one because it does have some images in some of those questions. If I scroll up, you can see that. All right, so I've got 4 test banks here, and they have varying amounts of questions, 35, 25, 26, 41. So if I were doing this the old way, I'd have to do this for each singular test bank. It would take a long time. But I've just quickly added 4 here. I could keep going, but just to make this video a little quicker, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to click on Save. And now we have a test called Principles of Marketing. And it has 4 groups and 127 questions total. So now this is sort of really cool. We'll go back to just our quizzes view. No exporting or importing involved. We're just going to go to the right of the name of that quiz, which I named Principles of Marketing. And we're going to click on the 3 dots on the right, and we're going to select Migrate. This might take a while. Okay, so that took maybe like 5 minutes, but here is the new quiz. And you know it's a new quiz because it's got the filled in rocket ship. This is the moment of truth. So now we're going to click on item banks, and you'll see, boom, we have our item banks, and they all came over. Here's all those questions in each item bank. If we click on the 4th one just for fun, you can see it's already set to share with this course that we're in. So no more steps needed really to use this in this course. And if we scroll down, the images came in no problem. This is incredible. It's just a really more efficient way to move those banks over without having to export and import and all this other stuff. And you can do it all in one quiz and use that migration. And you can always rename these. So I know it's got that 1 at the end, which is annoying. So all I'm doing is renaming these. I actually don't mind that it has the name of the course on there. I think that's better when I'm dealing with these. And one last step you might want to do is go back to your quiz area, and you're going to want to delete these 2 quizzes that you made, because you never want to have those laying around for your students to accidentally stumble upon. They have too many questions in them. They'll mess up your gradebook, etc. So let's just get those out of the way. Now that we have our item banks over, we don't need those anymore. Now I can create a new quiz and use those banks. So that's really cool. Thanks for watching.